Okay. So as I was saying, legal services can help you with any possible legal defenses you have or many questions you may have about the legal process. You also may be eligible for financial assistance through what they're calling the SARA program, it's online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application to that program yet?
Yes, I have. My landlord, he submitted back. He submitted. They contacted him as well, and I spoke with him, and he said that he did return all the documents they was asking for. So at this point, we're just kind of waiting.
Okay, all right. I'll come back to that in just a second. We'll get verification of that, and I'll tell you what that means next for you. The other couple of things in landlord-tenant cases is landlord-tenant cases can be mediated. If parties agree to mediation, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through actually what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. Meaning if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved and your end of that agreement is fulfilled, so for example, if you do get financial assistance that pays your back rent, the landlord would in turn dismiss the case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you. So it'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You have any questions I have gone over with you so far?
No.
Okay. Ms. Lee, were you able to find her application?
Your Honor, is this for Melissa Cole?
Cole, correct? Yep.
Yes, I am able to see their application in the portal, and we do have both the landlord and the tenant's application.
Okay, excellent. Has that been given to a caseworker yet?
No, it hasn't been assigned yet. It was submitted on July 21st.
I got it. Okay. All right. Okay, so by filing that application, Ms. Cole, what that does is gets you a little bit of a longer adjournment than other cases are getting. So your next court date will be on September the 1st. That'll be a Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
You're still at the Wood Creek address, right?
Correct.
Okay. Court's going to mail you a notice. Included in that notice will be the new Zoom ID information. The Zoom information changes from hearing to hearing. So you would make sure you get that information. If you don't receive it for any reason, let the court know, give us a call, and the clerk can give that information over the phone. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Roby, did you have anything else on this matter?
No.
Okay. All right, Ms. Cole, did you have any questions for legal services? Do you want to speak with them today?
No.
Okay. All right. So then if you're all set and don't have any questions either for myself for legal services, you're good to go. September 1st at 1 o'clock will be your next hearing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Stay safe.
Yep, you too.
One person on the phone, I'm not sure what it is. Good morning. Your name, please?
Alvarez.
I'm sorry?
Robin Alvarez.
Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay, let me find your case. Hang on just one moment.
Okay.
That's one of mine, Your Honor. It's number,
Got it, 1800.
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Alvarez, I'm Mark Nelson. I'm the magistrate here at the 14B District Court. On the call with us as well as Mr. Fink, the attorney for the landlord. We also have Ms. Lee from Housing Access to Washtenaw County and Mr. Turbush, who's a representative from Legal Services. Okay.
Okay.
All right. This is McKinley Aspen Chase versus Robin Alvarez, case number 21C1800. I'm sorry, ma'am, you were saying?
I was saying good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you. So as you know, this is a landlord tenant case for non-payment of rent. The purpose of today's hearing really is to just get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services and possibly for financial assistance. Okay.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And I have an appointment with Ricky on the 9th at 10 a.m. to apply for funds.
Okay, excellent. I'll come back to that in just one moment. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the other component of the services part is you may be eligible for legal services as well. As a tenant, you do have the right to an attorney, and we do have, as I indicated, a representative from legal services here on the call with us as well. That if you had any questions about the process or any possible legal defenses, we can have you talk to that individual. The other couple of things with landlord-tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. What that means is if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved, and your end of that agreement is fulfilled. So for example, if you do get that financial assistance you're going to apply for and that pays your back rent, the landlord in turn agrees to dismiss the case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you. So it'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions I have gone over so far?
No.
Okay. All right. So you said you have an appointment to initiate the application. You've not started an application yet?
No, I have not. They
Okay.
were booked until the 9th.
Okay. So your appointment is on the 9th, you said?
Yes.
Is that this coming Monday? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So what that does for us is it puts your next court date out 1 week from today, which will fortunately be after that 9th date. So you already will have started the process of the application and can update the court at that point as to where you are in that process. So your next court date will be on August the 11th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you still at the International?
11th.
Yep.
What time?
1 p.m.
1 o'clock. Okay.
Are you still at the International Drive address?
Yes.
Okay, so the court's going to mail you out a notice here shortly, and you should receive that in the mail rather quickly. If you don't have that by the early part of next week, though, say Monday or Tuesday, always call the court. The clerk can give that Zoom information over the telephone as well. Okay.
All right.
Do you have any questions? Anything I've gone over with you so far?
No.
Alvarez? No. Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
And
No.
did you want to?
I'm good.
Okay. And did you want to speak with legal services today?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to put you in what's called a breakout room with Mr. Turbush from Legal Services. He's going to gather some information from you so they can give you a call and talk to you more about your case. Okay. So you should, just in a moment, as soon as I get this set up, and give me just a second to do that, you should hear a tone on your phone that'll indicate you're going into a breakout room so you can speak privately with Mr. Turbush. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Ms. Thurlby, I don't have your second defendant yet. I'm going to run through a couple of Mr. Fink's cases, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Morning, Ms. Harrison.
Good morning.
Give me just 1 second to get your file in my hands.
Okay.
Okay. McKinley Aspen Chase versus Lynette Harrison, 21C1793.
James Fink, the plaintiff.
James Fink. Ms. Harrison, as you know, this is a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent. The purpose of today's hearing, though, is really just to get information to you, let you know that you may be able to certain services and possible financial assistance. Give me
yes, I talked to, I think his name is Michael up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he told me to tell you guys the same thing I told him about what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, I have my pictures and stuff. I don't have my hospital paperwork, but I do have the pictures. I was in the hospital for half of July. I got bit by a dog, and I have diabetes, and like my blood sugar was not sitting right with the infection. So my hand is better, like it's swelling went down and stuff, but my I had to get surgery on it. And I told him that I get paid every week, so I can pay the balance off, get him a payment every Friday for the balance. And he said to tell you guys that, because I was communicating with him while I was at the hospital.
Okay. Let me go through a few things and we'll come back to that in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the other few things, hang on just a second. You're fine. We believe you. You're fine.
Okay.
Let me just check in with one other person real quick. Mr. Turbush,
Okay.
were you able to speak with the last person or were they not there?
I was able to talk to her.
Okay. Okay. You were just quick. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Back to you, Ms. Harrison. So, landlord tenant cases, you do have the right to an attorney in landlord tenant case as a tenant. And we do have a representative here from legal services you can speak with if you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. The other thing is landlord with what's going on with landlord tenant cases right now is you may be eligible for financial assistance, really what they're calling the SARA program. That's an online portal for rental assistance under COVID. Have you made an application for that program yet?
Yes, I'm actually finishing it up this morning.
You're working on it right now. Okay. I'll come back to that in just a second.
Okay.
The other couple of things with landlord tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of judicial dismissal. So if you finish that application, for example, and get financial assistance, which is really where you want to focus most of your attention right now is working on that.
Okay.
If that works out and you get assistance that pays your back rent, then the landlord would agree to dismiss the case. That means they wouldn't file a judgment against you. So there'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions anything I've gone over with you so far?
No.
Okay. So what's going to happen next is we're going to set this out 1 week from today. So that'll be that on the 11th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're still at the
Okay.
International Drive address, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the court's going to mail you a notice with that date and time. And also the new Zoom ID information will be included in that notice. If for any reason you do not receive that by the early part of next week, you can always call the court and the clerk can give you that information over the phone, okay?
Okay, you said August 11th at what time?
1 o'clock, 1 week from today at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
All right. Any questions, anything?
No.
Okay, did you need to speak with the representative from legal services this morning?
No, so I just have to finish the application, right?
Yeah, that's what you want to focus on most importantly right now is get that application finished up and get that process started. Do you have, one of the things you're gonna need is the landlord's email address. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and
You
get that
said
finished
court is
up.
at 11, right?
No, 1 p.m.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine, you're fine. Okay, and like I said,
I'm
we'll
making
mail you
sure.
a notice as well. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Ms. Harrison, you're all set. Stay safe. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. All righty. We'll try one more to see if it was thoroughways or not. Ms. Atkins, can you hear me? On the Galaxy A12, sir, unmute yourself. Your name,
Can you
please?
hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Your name, please?
Gabriel Claire.
Let me look you up. Hang on a second. What was the last name again?
Claire.
Claire?
Yes.
It's mine. It's Aspen Chase, number 1796.
Thank you. There it is. Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Claire, just hang on for a second. I've got another case ahead of you, and I'll get to yours in just a second, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Atkins, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me get my hands on your file, and we'll get started.
Okay.
Kinley Aspen Chase versus Lisa Atkins, 21C17997, excuse me.
James Fink for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Hi, Ms. Atkins. Since you can't see us, let me do some introductions real quick. I'm Mark Nelson. I'm the magistrate here at the 14B District Court. Mr. Fink, who just introduced himself, is the attorney for the plaintiff. We also have Ms. Lee here from Housing Access Washtenaw County and Mr. Turbush from Legal Services. All right,
Okay.
ma'am, this is a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent, as you know, but the purpose of today's hearing really is just get information to you, let you know that you may be able to certain services, possible financial assistance as well, okay?
Okay.
As a tenant, you do have right to an attorney in a landlord-tenant case, so if you did any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have, the representative from Legal Services is here and can speak with you about that. You also may be eligible for financial assistance through the SARA program, which is an online portal for rental assistance that's being utilized at this moment to get people caught up on their rent. Have you made an application for that process yet?
Yes, Your Honor, I have. I did it in May, and I've been calling every day for an update, and my case has just went over to SOS, and they're just waiting for someone to be assigned to it. And I talked to the intake specialist at SOS yesterday, and she said Elise will be calling the court to update.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the other couple of things is landlord-tenant cases can be mediated if the parties agree to mediation. That can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of additional dismissal. Meaning if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved, and your end of that agreement is fulfilled, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss the case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you, so there'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions, anything I've gone over with you so far?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Lee, were you able to verify that application?
Yes, Your Honor. It is currently with SOS and it hasn't been assigned to a caseworker.
Okay, thank you. That's what Ms. Atkins indicated to us as well. Okay, perfect.
In your honor, I'm told that both the landlord and tenant applications have been submitted.
Good. All good news. That's all moving in the right direction. Okay. So Ms. Atkins, what all that means to you is your next court date is going to be pushed out a little further than the normal dates are being used right now. So your next court date will be on September the 1st.
Okay.
And that'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be via Zoom, just like we're doing here today. So you're
Okay.
still at the international address, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the court's going to mail you a notice to that address, including the Zoom ID information. If for any reason as that date approaches, you don't have that or not receive that Zoom information, you always call the court. The court's going to give that Zoom information over the telephone as well. Okay.
Okay. The court number that's on the docket that I have. Call
The
that
telephone
number.
number, the 483 number, 73483. Yeah. If you don't receive the
Okay.
Zoom information, you always call that number. Yep.
Okay, and that's September the 1st at 1 o'clock?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on the process at this point?
No, I just want to add that my two daughters couldn't be present because they're out of town right now.
Okay, that's no problem. As long as the financial application is moving forward and things like that, everything should be just fine. Did you
Okay.
want to speak with the representative from Legal Services? Do you have any questions about the legal process or any defenses you may have?
No, Your Honor. I spoke to
Okay.
someone at Access, and they
Okay.
were filling me in pretty much.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All right. So again, you'll be back on with Judge Washington in about a month on September 1st at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Everybody be blessed and be safe.
Thank you,
You as well,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Mr. Claire?
Yeah.
All right. McKinley Aspen Chase versus Gabriel Clare, case number 21C1796.
James Fink for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. You're gonna hear a lot of the stuff I just said to the last individual, but I need to repeat it for everyone. So this is a landlord tenant case for non-payment of rent. And the purpose of today's hearing really is just to get you that information we're talking about here, let you know what you may be able to certain services and possible financial assistance. Have you made an application on this under the SARA program yet?
Yes, I made an application about a month ago. Their caseload is so heavy that they haven't had the chance to go ahead with the final go ahead and take care of it.
Okay, we'll come back to that in just a second, okay?
Yep.
All right. The other couple of things, landlord tenant cases, is mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through Dispute Resolution Center for Washington County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal, meaning if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved and your end of the agreement is fulfilled, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss the case. So if you do get financial assistance that pays all your back rent, the landlord would dismiss the case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you. Therefore, would have less of an impact to your rental and credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions I have gone over with you so far?
No, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Lee, were you able to verify an application for Mr. Clare?
Yes, Your Honor. It is one of the paper applications ad hoc. He has a caseworker.
Okay, excellent. So he'll be hearing somebody soon, presumably.
Yes.
Do we have a case number yet?
We do have a SARA number. It is 198081.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Clare, what that means to you is your next court date will be put out to that about 30 days out to September the 1st.
Okay.
That'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon via Zoom, just like we're doing here today. The court will mail you a notice. You're still at the international address, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so court will mail you a notice to that address, including the Zoom information for that hearing. If for any reason you don't have the order or haven't received it by that date, you can always call the court. The court can give you the information over the phone as well.
Okay.
Any questions I have gone over with you so far?
No, sir.
And did you want to speak with legal services today?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Clare, you are all set then. Stay safe and just watch your mail for that notice. And you're back on September 1st at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Everyone have a good day.
Thank you as well. Ms. Glover, can you unmute yourself?
Say it again.
There you go. I asked you to unmute yourself.
Okay.
All righty. Good morning.
Good morning.
McKinley Villas versus Neil Glover, 21C1788.
James Fink for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Good morning, Mr. Glover.
Good morning.
As you know, this is a landlord tenant case for non-payment of rent. The purpose of today's hearing really is to get information to you, let you know that you may be able to certain services and possibly financial assistance. Okay.
Okay.
So as a tenant, you do have a right to an attorney in a landlord tenant case. And we do have a representative here from legal services you can speak with later if you do have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. You also may be eligible for financial assistance through what they're calling the SARA program. It's an online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application on that for that system yet?
Yes, I have.
You have, excellent. Okay, I'll come back to that in just a second. Okay. The other couple of things in landlord tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediation, that can be done through Dispute Resolution Center for Washington County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. Meaning if you and a landlord do come to terms as to how the case is going to be resolved. So in your case, if you do get financial assistance that pays your back rent, the landlord would agree to dismiss your case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you. That would result in less of an impact on your rental history and credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions I have gone over with you so far?
No, I do not.
Okay. Ms. Lee, were you able to find an application for Mr. Glover?
Yes, Your Honor, I do see them in the portal, and we haven't received the landlord's application yet.
Okay. Mr. Fink, would you like that number?
Would like that number, but my client thinks that the application is in process, so I'll have them double check it.
Okay, the case number is 221794.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Glover, what that does is now we verify that application has started. That buys you some more time. We're gonna put this next hearing out about 4 weeks to September the 1st for your next hearing. That'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll conduct that via Zoom, just like we're doing this hearing today. Okay.
Thank you. Will they be sending me notification as well?
Yes, indeed. Yep. So you're still at Binen, right?
Yes.
Okay. The court will mail you a notice to that address, including the new Zoom ID information for that hearing. If for any reason you've not received that information prior to the next court date, or for whatever reason don't have it, you can always call the court. The court can get information over the telephone as well. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you have any questions for me, or did you want to speak with legal services this morning?
Well, I just want to know, after the phone call, I will not be put out before the next court date.
Oh, absolutely not. No. The whole process, the whole idea here is to make sure people stay housed. And we're certainly going to be respectful of the process, and that does certainly is going to that application is going to take a little bit of time. So as long as things are moving forward on that application, and you're working towards getting financial assistance, you're fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glover, you're all set. Stay safe. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Roby?
Yes.
I'm just going through my roster here, and I don't see anybody in the waiting room that matches your case, and I also can account for everybody else that is there. So
Okay.
this is Concourse Group LLC versus Robert Dunley and Maya Carpenter Atling, 21C1718. Both defendants have failed to appear, and we do have service by attachment. Ms. Lee, did you see an application for either Dunley or Carpenter Atling?
Your Honor, what's their case number?
21C1718.
They are not in the system, Your Honor.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Roby, do you have any updates on this file?
No, I have not heard anything from either defendant.
Okay. All right, Matt, I'll go over to August the 11th at 3 p.m. then for entry.
Actually, if we could adjourn it until the 18th, I have a settlement conference with Judge Connors next week, Your Honor. I apologize.
No problem. We'll put that on the 18th. Let me just make sure that's yep, 18th is fine. Okay. All right, we'll put on the 18th. That's your request, and mail notice to the parties.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Oh, Mr. Blanchard.
How's it going?
I'm well. Yourself?
Pretty good.
All right. McKinley Roundtree versus Aaron Blanchard, 21C1782. As you know, it's a landlord tenant case for non-payment of rent, but the purpose of today's hearing really is just get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services and possible financial assistance. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing is, thank you, Mr. Frank. First thing, as a defendant, you do have the right to an attorney. We do have a representative here from legal services you can speak with today. If you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses, they can do an intake with you and get information to contact you later. The other thing is you may be eligible for financial assistance through what they're calling the SARA program, which is an online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application for that program yet?
Yeah, I applied July 1st.
Okay, I'll come back to that in just a second, okay?
Yep.
All right. The other couple of things in landlord-tenant cases, mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washington County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. What that means is should you and the landlord come to an agreement as to how the case is going to be resolved and your end of that agreement is fulfilled. So for example, if you do get that financial assistance that pays all of your back rent, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss your case, meaning they would not file a judgment against you, so there'd be less of an impact to your rental and credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Do you have any questions that I've gone over with you so far?
Nope.
Okay. Ms. Lee, were you able to verify his application?
Yes, Your Honor, I do see them in the system, and for the landlord, give me 1 second. We do have the landlord application in the system.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So Mr. Blanchard, what that means to you is your next court date will be pushed out a little further to allow that process to move forward. So your next court date will be September the 1st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That'll be via Zoom, just like we're doing here today. You're still at Roundtree, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So the court's going to mail you a notice to that address, including the new Zoom ID information for that hearing. If for any reason, as that September 1st date approaches, you don't have that information or have not received it, you always call the court to give you that information over the telephone as well. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on the process at this point?
Nope.
All right. And did you have any need to speak with legal services about any possible legal defenses or the legal process thing?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Given that, then, Mr. Blanchard, you are all set for today. We're adjourned to September 1st at 1 p.m. And like I said, you will be receiving notice in the mail shortly. Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Blanchard. Stay safe. Okay.
Yep. You too. Bye.
Thank you. And Mr. Reed, you can unmute yourself. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. McKinley Villas versus Ajeen Reed, case number 21C1786.
James Fink for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. All right, Mr. Reed, as you know, this is a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent. But the purpose of today's hearing really is to just get information to you, let you know that you may be able to certain services and possible financial assistance. Okay. Mr. Reed, you there? Mr. Reed, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you're breaking up there a little bit. Just want to make sure you can hear me. All right. You're fine now. Okay.
All right.
So you, as a tenant, you do have right to an attorney. We do have a representative here from legal services you can talk to if you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. The other thing is you may be eligible for financial assistance through what they're calling the SARA programs, online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application through that program yet?
I've filled out for the SARA program. I just want to add that in addition to the SARA program, I've also filled out three other rental assistance programs before then. The two that I filled in originally before they ran out of funding, and the third rental assistance that I had went about before the SARA, they told me that I make too much money.
Okay.
So the SARA program was the last one that I did, and I still haven't heard back from the SARA program. So
okay.
I keep going through this procedure with just, the only thing that's really positive with this situation is just the fact that I'm still working and I have a steady income. So I am able to pay the rent. It's just, I'm recovering from, again, I haven't received nothing back from the SARA program in and at the time it was other residents that were waiting to hear back from them since April, and I
Okay.
was one of them.
So, Mr. Reed, we have a representative here from Hawk that can look up your file here in just a second. We can get some more information on that. Let me go through a couple other things first, and we'll come back to that. Okay.
Your channel phone.
So the other couple of things is landlord tenant cases can be mediated. If parties agree to mediation, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through entry what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. Meaning, if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved, and your end of the agreement is fulfilled, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss the case. Meaning they would not file a judgment against you. So there would be less of it blemish to your rental history, credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Somewhat, yeah, China.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lee, were you able to find an application from Mr. Reed?
Yes, Your Honor, I do see their application in the portal. It's been assigned to SOS and it hasn't been assigned to a caseworker.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Reed, that's good news. Your case, your application is there, and you should be hearing from somebody from SOS soon on that to get that process started. Okay.
Okay, that's good news. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Fink, has your client had their side of that application yet?
I think so. If Ms. Lee could confirm it.
What was your question again? I'm sorry.
Just that the landlord app has been submitted.
I do not have that information, but I do have their SARA number. It is 120384.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Reed, because that application has been filed, that does gives you a little more time here. So we're going to set your next court date out to September the 1st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to allow that application process to move as far forward as it possibly can. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're still at the Gulfside address, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the court's going to mail you a notice. 103.
Okay.
Yeah. The court's going to mail you a notice to that address.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Included in that notice will be the new Zoom ID information. If for any reason you do not receive that, you can always call the court. The clerks can give you that information over the telephone as well.
Okay. No.
All right. Do you have any questions for me on anything we've gone over so far?
Yeah. Just pretty much. Well, I see that the SARA program is in SOS, so it is proceeding. But
it is.
You said it is.
It is. Yep. Yep. It is moving forward.
Okay. I was just trying to, because that would help if anything. But if that doesn't fall through, I do, again, I am working, so I could chop the rent down, you know, how I do and pay it. It's just, again, the time frame of taking care of everything all at once.
Yeah. We'll let that application process move as far forward as it can, and they'll give you determination as to if you're eligible or not. So see if they can help you first, okay?
Okay.
All right, so September 1st is your next court date. Did you have any questions for legal services today?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, all right, then you are all set, sir. Stay safe, okay?
All right, thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
You as well.
Your Honor, when I first signed in, I thought I saw Ms. Hussein in the courtroom for a moment.
She's in the waiting room. All right. Lucretia Trussell?
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
McKinley Phyllis versus Lucretia Trussell, case number 21C1791. So as you know, it's a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent. But the purpose of today's hearing really is to get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services and possible financial assistance as well. Okay. So as a tenant, you do have the right to an attorney, and we do have a representative here from legal services you can speak with today if you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. And the other thing is you may be eligible for financial assistance through what they're calling the SARA program. It's an online portal for COVID rental relief. That
I'm
looks to
already
be-
taking part into that. Like,
Okay.
I recently talked to Laura about that, and she told me that this was mandatory to go through, but I put it in like right before or at like a tragedy hit my household. My niece ended up passing. My sister also live out here. So, you know, she had the Sierra and it went through for her. But I was also working full time at the time, but my job recently got hit with bed bugs. I do home health care. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm transferring to another job, which I just got hired in, thank God, and going to school at the end of the month. But that losing my niece was definitely like a throw off for our family. And I was able to pay for 1 month by the grace of God for somebody else helping me. But I kind of, with my hours in the bed bugs, that kind of like, you know, scared me. So I had to look for work elsewhere. Like, no, it's like really a scary thing. So
I hear you.
I filed for the Sierra, and then Laura told me, she just got back to me yesterday about my ledger, saying that they updated the ledger. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that it's pushing on through. You know, that's where I'm at with it mentally.
I hear you. I hear you. I apologize. Somebody else was in the room with me, so they.
It's okay.
So anyway, let me tell you. We'll come back to the Sarah application in just a second. So the other couple of things is landlord tenant cases can be mediated. Parties agree to mediation. That can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County, and the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of consent order of additional dismissal. So if that Sarah funding does come through for you and does pay your back rent, that means the landlord would agree to dismiss your case. That means they would not file a judgment against you, so it'd be less of a hit to your rental and credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ms. Lee, were you able to verify her application?
Yes, Your Honor, her application is with Hawk and it's been assigned to a caseworker, and we do have the landlord's application in the system as well.
Excellent. Okay, so that's all good news, Ms. Trussell. So
okay,
what
that's great.
What that does for you is we're going to push your next court date out actually a little further than some of the other cases going. So your next court date will be on September the 1st, allowing that application process to move as far forward as possible.
Your Honor, I have a question before she goes.
Yep.
She said she's starting school at the end of the month. What is she studying?
Journalism and broadcasting. I love to talk. Like, if it wasn't this time, I would have gave y'all the whole background of everything.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay, so we'll put this out to September 1st at 1 o'clock via Zoom. You're still at the Vine and Drive address, right?
Yes, I'm still
Okay,
here.
so the court's going to mail you a notice. That address, including will be the new Zoom ID information, is going to change for the next hearing.
Oh, I hope everything goes fine.
It's fine. And just like today, you may be in the waiting room for a minute, just because we have a lot of cases going through. So, for example,
I figured.
If you were at court, you'd have a whole bunch of people sitting in the courtroom with you, so you could see
I
that.
thought it was me.
No,
I thought it was
fine.
me. I'm like, okay,
Nope.
did I not call on time? What? But I appreciate that.
No, you're good. You're good. So 1 o'clock on the 1st is your next court date. You'll get a notice in the mail with the new Zoom ID information. If for any reason you don't receive that, you can always call the court. The court can give you the information over the phone too. Okay.
Okay, we'll do.
Right. Do you have any questions for legal services about the legal process or any possible legal defenses?
No, sir.
All right, then, Ms. Trussell, you are all set for today. Just watch the mail for that notice. Like I said, September 1st at 1 o'clock is your next court date, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thank
stay
you.
safe, man. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me just get my hands on your file.
James Fink for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. There we are. Kinley Aspen Chase for Sanat Hussain, case number 21C1801. All right. And Gianni Hall is also a defendant named on this. Do you expect that person to appear today?
No.
Okay. All right. So as you know, it's a landlord tenant case for non-payment of rent. But the purpose of today's hearing really is just get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services, possibly for financial assistance. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, as a tenant, you do have a right to an attorney on a landlord tenant case, and we do have representatives here from legal services who can speak with today if you like. You also may be eligible for financial assistance through the what they call the SARA program, which is an online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application to that program yet?
Yes.
Okay, I'll come back to that in just a second, okay? So the other couple of things in landlord-tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediation, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. What that means is should you and the landlord come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved, and your end of that agreement is fulfilled, so if you do get financial assistance, that does pay all of your back rent, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss your case. What that means is they would not file a judgment against you, so there'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You have any questions, anything I've gone over with you so far?
No.
Okay. Ms. Lee, were you able to verify their application?
Yes, Your Honor. I do see their application has been submitted today, and we do not have the landlord's information yet, but it's been sent to Michael at the leasing office, and the SARA number is 256339.
Okay. So, Mr. Hussain, what that does for you is by filing an application, that buys you a little more time. We want to put your next court date out of about a month, September the 1st, allow that application process to move as far forward as possible, okay?
Okay.
All right. Being that's a brand new application, you may be hearing back from either Hawk or SOS, gather more information from you. So it's important you stay engaged in that process. When you hear from either Hawk or SOS, make sure you're getting back in touch with them as quickly as you can, okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions on the process or anything we've gone over so far?
No.
Okay. And did you need to speak with legal services this morning about the legal process or any possible legal defenses?
No, thank you.
Okay. Are you still at the International Drive address?
Yes.
Okay. So what's going to happen next is the court's going to mail you a notice. Included in that notice will be the Zoom ID information for your next hearing. Again, that hearing will be September 1st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the Zoom information will be different for that hearing. If for any reason you've not received that before that court date, you can always call the court. The court can give you information over the telephone as well. Okay.
May I have the SARA number, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Lee, do you have the SARA number again?
Yes, it is 256339.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Okay. I'm just saying that if you don't have any further questions, you are all set.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Stay safe. Have a good day. Mr. Bird, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
This is McKinley Aspen Chase versus Marlon Bird, case number 21C1799. So as you know, this is a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent. But the purpose of today's hearing really is to just get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services and possibly for financial assistance. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, as a tenant, you do have the right to an attorney in a landlord-tenant case. We do have representatives here from legal services you can speak with if you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. And you may be eligible for financial assistance, what they're calling the SARA program. It's an online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application through that process yet for the rental relief?
Yes, I have.
Okay, excellent. We'll come back to that in just 1 second. The other couple of things I need to let you know about landlord-tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If the parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through the Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. What that means is should you and the landlord come to an agreement as to how the case is going to be resolved, and your end of that agreement is fulfilled, so in your situation, if you do get the financial assistance that pays all of your back rent, the landlord in turn agrees to dismiss the case. That means they don't file a judgment against you. So it'd be less of a hit to your rental history and credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Lee, were you able to verify the application you filed?
Yes, Your Honor. Their application is with Hawk currently. It might get transferred to SOS later, but their Sarah number is 245754, and we do have the landlord's application in the system.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Bird, all that is good news for you. What that means is we're going to put your next court date a little further out in the future to allow that application process to move forward as far as it can before your next court date. So your next court date will be on September the 1st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, are you still at the international address?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you still at the International Drive address?
Yes.
All right, so the court's going to mail you a notice to that address. Included in that notice will be the Zoom ID information for that next hearing. If for any reason you don't receive that information, you can always contact the court. The court can give you the information over the telephone as well. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on the process at this point?
Yes. So I guess I did end up managing to get help from I guess a few relatives of mine as far as the payment goes. So the payment that is on the case, the $1,921 is paid off. It should be fully processed by today, sometime this morning. If it hasn't already, I haven't checked.
Okay.
But I have the receipts.
Okay. Did that include August's rent as
Sorry.
well, or did that include August's rent as well? Or did that just include August.
No. So I'm still working on that. I'm having my girlfriend help actually with the August rent. She did put down 400. So I am steadily working to get that paid off. I'm not refusing payment. I just need more time, but this is good news. I'm glad that I could buy myself at least a couple weeks. So
yeah, all perfectly understandable. Mr. Fink, did you have any response to that information?
There was 1,200 paid and entered on the ledger on the 28th. And then of course, August charges were added on the 1st. The total as of today, including court costs, is $1,798.95. And if there was a payment made this week, it has not yet hit the ledger.
Okay.
But Mr. Bird, if you're eligible for assistance, you'll get some future rent assistance also. And I'll have an updated ledger when we come back on the 1st.
Yeah. So keep following through on that Sarah programming, particularly if you're going to continue to have difficulties making your future obligations. Just keep following that rental process through. Okay.
okay, I understand.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen for 4 weeks, so you don't have to worry about somebody knocking on your door and moving your stuff out, sir.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. All right, Mr. Bird, did you need to speak with legal services this morning? Do you have any questions about the legal process?
No, I think I have a pretty clear understanding.
Okay. All right. So September 1st is your next court date. Like everybody's told you here, keep following through on that Sarah application. Get that done as far forward as you can. And you're all set for today then. Okay.
Okay. I do have a concern. I did attempt to have assistance through Sarah, but unfortunately it said that I do not qualify since the pandemic has not affected me directly in any way as far as the protection, the COVID protection goes, but I could definitely try other avenues with that program. I just thought to let you know that.
When did you get that notification?
It was a few days ago when I applied for assistance.
Okay.
They had me check a couple boxes that I wasn't able to.
Okay. Ms. Lee, do you have any further information on that?
Your Honor, I do not have any case notes that he has been denied from the program.
Okay. What, Mr. Bird, if you have a few moments this morning, I think I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. Lee from Hawk, and she can talk you through a little bit more about what's going on and possibly get an answer to that question for you. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. So in just a moment, you should see an invitation to a breakout room on your screen. That'll get you in with Miss Lee from Hawk, and the two of you can speak privately. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Give me just a second to get that set up and get the two of you in there. All right, you should see an invitation on your screen to enter a breakout room. Just go ahead and accept that invitation.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Garland, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Good morning. Give me just 1 second to grab your file, okay?
Okay.
There it is, page 1. All right. McKinley Roundtree versus excuse me, Ari Coleman Hausman and Desireen Garland, case number 21C1781. All right. Do you anticipate the other individual showing up this morning?
I'm sorry?
The other individual on this case, Coleman Hausman, do you expect them to be here today?
He will not be here today. He works midnights.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, so as you know, this is a landlord-tenant case for non-payment of rent, but the purpose of today's hearing really is just get information to you, let you know that you may be eligible for certain services and possible financial assistance, okay?
Okay.
All right, so first of all, as a tenant, you do have right to the right to an attorney on a landlord-tenant case, and we do have a representative here from Legal Services you can speak with today if you have any questions about the legal process or any possible legal defenses you may have. And the other thing that's out there right now is the SARA program. It's an online portal for COVID rental relief. Have you made an application to that program yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, we'll come back to that in just a second. Did you? Let me ask you one further follow-up question on that. Did you file that under your name or under Coleman Hausman or both?
Under my name.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. The other couple of things in landlord-tenant cases is mediation is a possibility. If parties agree to mediate the case, that can be done through Dispute Resolution Center for Washtenaw County. And the case ultimately can be resolved through the entry of what's called a consent order of conditional dismissal. Meaning if you and the landlord do come to an agreement as to how the case is to be resolved and your end of that agreement is fulfilled, the landlord in turn would agree to dismiss the case, meaning there would not be a judgment filed against you. So there'd be less of a blemish to your rental history or credit history as a result of the case being filed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions, anything I've gone over with you so far?
No.
Okay. Mr. Turbush, were you able to verify that application?
Yes, Your Honor, I saw one. It was submitted July 6th and it's under review at Hawk right now.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Mr. Fink, does your client have their end of that?
I do not know. The note I have says submitted. So,
okay.
We lost Miss Lee.
Mr. Turbush, do you have the SARA number?
Yes, Your Honor, one moment. It's 210952.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
So
I'm sorry. I only got 5 digits.
It's 210952.
Thank you. I missed the first 2.
No problem.
All right. So Ms. Garland, back to you. All that talk back and forth just to verify that application is there. What that means for you now is that gets you a little more time. So we're going to put your court date out a little further than other cases are going. We'll put you out onto September the 1st, about 4 weeks from now. Allow that application to go as far forward as it can between now and the next court dates. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that'll be on the September 1st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's gonna be a different Zoom ID than this hearing was. You're still at the Roundtree address, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So the court's gonna mail you a notice to that address. Included will be that Zoom ID information. If for any reason you've not received that information, you can always contact the court, and the court can even do it over the phone as well. Okay.
Okay.
You have any questions on the process thus far?
No, I do not.
Okay. And did you need to speak with legal services about any possible legal defenses or any legal issues you may have?
No.
Okay. That being the case, then, Ms. Garland, you are all set for today. We'll adjourn this to September the 1st at 1 o'clock. And like I said, you should be receiving notice in the mail here shortly. Any follow-up you get from SOS or Hawk regarding your application, of course, make sure you're getting back to them as quickly as possible to keep that process moving forward. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right, you have a great day. Stay safe, okay?
Thank you. You as well.
All right. Mr. Fink, did you have any other dismissals other than the one you notified us of earlier?
No, sir.
Okay, running through the list then. McKinley Schooner Co. versus Ryan Coons, 21C1783. Defendants failed to appear. We have service by attachment. Mr. Turbush, do you see an application under Coons? Kuhns?
I do not.
Thank you. And Mr. Fink, was there any update to this file?
Have no information on Sarah.
Thank you. All right. I see Mr. Bird is back. All right. Ms. Lee, were you able to get that resolved?
Your Honor, can Mr. Burr speak with legal services actually?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll set up another breakout room for Mr. Bird and Mr. Turbush. Let me get you to assign to that. Okay. So each of you, if you go down to the bottom of your screen and you see the icon that says breakout rooms, there should be a place where you can join breakout room number 1 for both Mr. Turbush and Mr. Bird.
Seeing breakout room 2.
Huh. Let me try to move you again. Hang on a second. You see 1 now?
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, back to Ryan Coons has failed to appear. We have service by attachment matter we set for hearing on the 11th at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
Kelly Schooner Co. versus Edwin Ogu, OGU, 21C1784. Defendants failed to appear. We have service by attachment. Ms. Lee, do you see a SARE application under the?
Yeah, we've been told, but haven't yet confirmed that Mr. Ogu passed away. We are in communication with a relative who may clear out the apartment, in which case we would dismiss, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a timeline for that to be cleared out?
Let's go out 2 weeks to the 18th.
Okay.
Of that work.
Yep. All right. All right, we'll put it out to the 18th at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
McKinley Villas versus Jane Pitts McGahee, 21C1787. Defendants failed to appear. And there's personal services matter. Mr. Fink, do you have any additional information on this file? And Ms. Lee, do you see a SARE application under Pitts McGahee?
No, Your Honor, they're not in the system.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any contact on your end, Mr. Fink?
Our information says that the app is in process.
Oh, you do see an application?
That's what my client has.
Okay. Maybe not so far processed that it got to Hawk.
See if we have a number.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to put that at the end, Your Honor? Hopefully we'll have a response by then.
Your Honor, I actually do see them under await tenant information tab, which means the landlord has completed their application, but the tenant did not.
Ah,
Okay. All right. So I guess that puts us August 11th at 3 o'clock.
did you say 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yep. McKinley Villas versus Trshawn Williams, 21C1789, and it's failed to appear. We have personal service. Anybody see a Sarah application on this matter?
I have no information on the Sarah app.
I don't see an application under that name.
Thank you. Okay, defendants failed to appear. We have personal service noted in the file. Be set for August 11th at 3 o'clock for entry.
Thank you.
McKinley Villas versus Gordon Macon and Justine Bauer, 21C1790. We have service by attachment as to both parties. Any information on Sarah for either of these individuals?
None from me.
I don't see them in the system, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll set this to the 11th at 3 p.m. McKinley Aspen Chase versus Jolise Reddick, 21C1792. Defendants failed to appear. Court will note personal service. Any Sarah information on this individual?
Not from me.
Nope, they're not in the system.
So it's the 11th at 3 p.m. for entry of judgment.
Thank you.
McKinley Aspen Chase versus Enrico Renee, 21C1794. And it's failed to appear. We have service unmarked. I guess it's by attachment. Any information on a Sarah app under Enrico Renee?
Your Honor, I actually do see their application in the system. Let me just check if we have the landlord's information. And we also have the landlord's application in.
Okay. Okay, we'll set it for the 11th at 3 p.m. We'll note in the file the Sarah application is on file. Ms. Lee, if Hawk has any communication with this individual, make sure that they know.
Should that be September 1st?
Well, they're not here,
Okay,
but I mean,
that's fine.
I think we need to move it forward on their basis of they're not being here. That being said, if they continue to fail to appear, I guess the judge will have to decide what she wants to do with it.
Hopefully we'll be done. If Miss Lee is handling it, it will all be taken care of by then.
All right, McKinley Aspen Chase versus Angela Wingard, 21C1795. Defense failed to appear with service by attachment. Any Sarah information from Ms. Wingard?
No, sir.
We don't have an application under that name.
Okay, defense failed to appear, set for August the 11th at 3 o'clock. McKinley Aspen Chase versus Sarako Koholi, 21C1798. Defendants failed to appear with service by attachment. Any Sarah information for this individual?
Seems like we just finished it. COD with them, but no, I have nothing.
I don't see a Sarah app.
Okay. Mr. Fink, you said a CO,
Let me take a quick
an
look.
order is coming?
No, I think that we just wrapped one up, but if I could just,
Oh, so one got finished, this is a new case?
it was in June.
Okay, all right, so this is separate of that.
New round.
All right, we'll set this for the 11th at 3 p.m. Okay. Mr. Fink, do you know if Washtenaw County is an eligible county for,
It is not, it's an interesting process. It's a 7-day rolling, but there is a link, which I can send out, that you can check on, and it tells you where we are. So the, I forgot the exact words of the CDC order, but Washtenaw County has moderate transmission and is therefore somebody in Washtenaw County, at least today, is not a covered person.
tomorrow maybe?
Unlikely, but yes, because it's a rolling 7 days. So I guess we have to check it every day.
Okay.
And I suppose it's possible someone could, I think, sorry to say, what's likely is that we'll get incorrect applications. I don't want to say false, but it's possible that someone could submit an incorrect application, but by the time I raise it with the court, Washtenaw County has moved into being a place where the people are covered persons, and then I suppose they could just submit a new application.
And they've cured the defect at that point, huh?
I think that when the Supreme Court says this requires an act of Congress and you don't have an act of Congress, they did not cure the defect.
Well, the party went by the time the party.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you were saying this, the administration cured the defect.
No. I'm taking no position on that. All right. I see Mr. Bird's back. Mr. Bird,
Hi.
we all set, or do we have anything else we need to address on your file?
No, I believe that's it. Got all the information I need. Everyone was very helpful. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So we had your date at September the 1st. Just watch your mail for that notice. Okay.
Your Honor, I have one piece of information for Mr. Bird that, given what I'm reading between the lines, might be helpful. And sir, that is that if your balance becomes 0 before the end of August, then we would dismiss the case. And then you wouldn't have to come on the 1st, because September rent will be added to the balance when we're in court on the 1st. So I'm just kind of giving you a little, if you end up doing this yourself, for planning purposes, that might help you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it does. I appreciate that.
All right. Okay, Mr. Bird, you're all set. Stay safe. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And you as well. Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
And Mr. Fink, I'm out of your files, I believe.
I'm glad, because I am also.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you all.
Mr. Landau, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. All right. Deborah Blankenship, or Swan Creek versus Deborah Blankenship, 21C1753. Defendant has failed to appear, and we have service by attachment. Ms. Lee, do you see a SARA application for this individual?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the defendant's name?
Deborah Blankenship.
Your Honor, I do not see them in the system.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Landau, do you have any update on this file?
I do not, Your Honor. Just set it for a second hearing. We expect to be taking a default judgment if the defendant doesn't show up.
Okay. August 11th at 3 p.m. will be that second hearing. And I believe that's all we had. 3 p.m. Correct. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Landau, you're all set. Have a good day.
Oh, no, I got one more.
No, you don't. Let me check.
Denitra Tubbs.
Let me look at my docket here. Hang on a second. I think I ran out of people. But let me see.
It's one case number up. It's 21C1754.
It's not on my docket anymore. Let me see what the ROA says on it. 21C54, you said?
Yes.
You dismissed it on the 30th.
Oh, well, my secretary didn't let me know that, but okay.
All right. All right. Have a good day, Mr.
Thank
Lando.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Have a good day.
And we're out of every